going to talk about using Kongs. Kongs are one of my favorite tools for working with your dog because they solve a whole host of problems before they even start. So I use Kongs every single day. My dogs are always fed out of Kongs. And that's what we're going to talk about today is how to fill them, how to use them, and why you need to be using them too. So my dogs get Kongs every day for breakfast and dinner, and I fill them with their raw meat, so I happen to feed raw and kibble. They get the raw food in the Kong, they get the kibble for training, but even if you just use kibble, we're going to show you how to do that too. So I use Kongs to prevent separation anxiety, so I'll put them in a crate every time I leave the house. My dogs always have something in their crate with them so that they anticipate me leaving and are like, yes, I'm psyched. She's leaving, I get something good. I also use them to teach tethering behavior. So that means I teach them how to relax when I'm watching TV. They're sitting on their tether, chewing their Kong, and learning how to be calm, especially in puppies. And then I'll also use them to make them happy about being in the car. A lot of dogs can have car anxiety. So from day one, I'm putting them in a crate with the car with a Kong filled with lots of yummy stuff so they associate car rides with awesome things. So anytime you need your dog to be relaxed, calm, and have something awesome to do, Kong is for you. Kongs are great for puppies. So when you have a puppy, all you really want them to be is busy and tired. And that's what the Kong does. Kong is mental stimulation and enrichment. So your dog, if you give them a frozen Kong, might spend a good half hour to an hour trying to get everything out of that Kong, which means you've got a half an hour to an hour to not have to worry about what your puppy's doing, making sure they're not chewing on your stuff. They're learning appropriate things to chew on. Kongs are awesome for your busy puppies. This is the solution to them tearing up your house. They also make Kongs in lots of different colors, depending on how tough a chewer your dog is. So this is a puppy Kong. You're going to find those typically in pink and blue. Those are for puppies because they're really soft and pliable. Red Kongs are your medium classic Kong. That's for your normal chewer. And then you've got the extreme Kong. That's for your bully breeds. Those dogs that are really intense about chewing. This is the Kong for you. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to fill the Kongs and what I put in my Kongs. So like I said, I feed half raw, and then I also feed kibble, but we got solutions for both of those things. So I'm going to put my gloves on first because raw meat's yucky, and I don't want to get under my fingernails. So I always use gloves when I do this. If you're more hardy than me, you can do it barehanded. Alright, so got my bowl filled meat. I use a pre-mixed meat roll. I use Bravo. This is Blue Ridge beef. Whatever your natural local pet food store, they probably have something like this that's already ground for your dogs. So this one's frozen. You want to freeze it in your fridge. Once it's unfrozen, you're gonna use it to put in your Kongs. Then you're gonna refreeze it. So take my Kong, take my yucky meat, shove it in there. Gross. But your dogs are gonna love this so much. Now, when you first start using Kongs for your dog, you need to get them used to feeding out of a Kong. So maybe you've been feeding out of a bowl all your life, so then they're going to be like, what? I wanted my food for free. They have to learn how to work for it. So when you first start out, you're going to just take your raw meat, give it to your dog like this, and let them eat the raw meat out of it. They're going to get through it pretty quickly, but this will teach them how to feed out of a Kong. Now, my dogs are very experienced from day one feeding out of a Kong, so all of their meat gets frozen. So basically I'm going to fill that up, put it in my bucket that I put all my Kongs in, and then bring it down to the basement freezer and put it in there. So that's our raw Kongs. I'll fill a couple for you real fast so you can see a little bit more. Alright, so we did our meat Kongs, we're all set there, so let me show you for all you kibble folks what you're going to do with your kibble. There's a couple ways to do this. There's like the lazy man's way, which is typically what I do, and then there's the mix it into the bowl way. So I'm going to show you the lazy man's way first. So what I have here is a bit of pumpkin. This is Trader Joe's organic pumpkin. The other stuff I have is Stop and Shop. So take my kibble. Sometimes I'll block the hole in the bottom with a piece of carrot because there is a little hole in the bottom of your Kong. We're not going to do that today. I'm going to plop some of my pumpkin, really good for your dog, in here. Then I'm going to take some kibble, put it in there, like so. Then I'm going to plop some more pumpkin down in there, make it nice and moist. Because the idea here is we're going to make it nice and moist so that when it freezes, it all gets kind of mixed together. Put a little bit more pumpkin right here, a little more kibble on the top. Yeah, shove it down in there. It's good. And then finally top it off with a little bit of pumpkin. Another thing you can do, I'll just put that right in my container of filled Kongs. Another thing you can do is put something really yummy at the bottom of your Kong. So, you know, throw a piece of liver down in the bottom there so that your dog really wants to make it to the bottom. That's another option for blocking that little hole down there. So, we're gonna take this yogurt and a fresh spoon because my husband also uses this yogurt. So, woo! So, I'm gonna take just like a tablespoon or so, the yogurt, put it in my bowl with my kibble, smush it all around so everything gets all moist, and then I can shove that inside my Kong. I'll do a little Kong of this one. And you can try and do it with a spoon, but really it probably works a little bit better with your hand. Oh, look at that. Should did a good job. Didn't get my hands dirty. Alright, so shoving that in there. Same deal. Put this in my bowl. Now I got a lot of different parfaits in here. I got kibble and yogurt. I got pumpkin and kibble. I got raw meat. This happens to be turkey, ground turkey in there. And what I do at the beginning of every week, so typically Sunday, which is today, I fill all of my Kongs, I shove them in the freezer, and then throughout the week, I'm able to just pick one out, give it to my dog, especially if especially a day like today. Today is rainy, my dogs aren't going to get as much exercise as they're used to. This is a great day for them to have a couple Kongs, give them something to do, make them tired, and then I can go and do my work. So, if you like this video, you can like it and then subscribe so you get all our latest videos so you can have a better behaved dog. The Kongs will be in a link below so you can make sure you get these and start using them with your dog. And you can also go to doggyu.com if you need some extra help. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
For me.
Wait, that wasn't good. Let me do it again.